You ever come home from a trip and feel like something's just off? I don't mean your cat ignoring you for leaving him alone or your mail piling up too high in the box. I mean walking into your living room, your sanctuary, and finding a stranger in a pastel tracksuit repainting your walls like it's her house. And I'm not speaking metaphorically here. I mean literally rolling peach-colored paint over your handcrafted oak shelving like she's doing you a favor. That's what happened to me, Tommy Gladwell, 62 years old, semi-retired city planner, lifelong lover of order, coffee, and the peace and quiet of a well-kept home in a modest little community called Heather Ridge just outside of Raleigh, North Carolina. Now, let me back up before we hit the good part. I'd been gone for a 5-day work trip to Atlanta. Consulting gig, urban planning conference. Not glamorous, but I enjoy it. Keeps the mind sharp. I'd flown back a day early, conference ended ahead of schedule, and I thought, what the heck, surprise my Tabby Oliver, make a little pasta, maybe sit on the porch and enjoy the evening breeze. That kind of vibe. So I pull up to my house, neatly kept, azaleas starting to bloom out front, and right away something feels wrong. The front door's unlocked. Deadbolt wasn't thrown. Now, I'm meticulous, me late wife, Grace, used to tease me about it, but I never, ever leave the deadbolt off. Ever. I walk in and instantly smell paint. Not fresh paint in a nice, clean way, no. Cheap paint. Industrial motel kind of peach. And then I hear it. A roller swiping across a wall that should not, under any circumstances, be changed. I turn the corner into the living room, and there she is. Lydia Bancroft. Mid-50s, platinum hair yanked back, so tight it looks like it hurts, wearing some designer tracksuit that probably costs more than my whole living room set. And she's painting my wall, my library wall, the one Grace and I had built together. Real oak, handcrafted. We spent months designing that nook. I just finished reorganizing my books by genre. And here's Lydia, meet neighbors, lapping peach paint on it like it's some college dorm room. She looks up, completely unfazed, like I'm the intruder. "Oh, hi, back early," she says, like she's my decorator, and I've just walked in on a surprise reveal. I just stare at her. My suitcase drops to the floor. Oliver darts out from under the couch, like he's seen a ghost. "What in the hell are you doing in my house?" My voice didn't even sound like mine. It came from somewhere deeper, somewhere shocked and betrayed. Lydia just shrugs and says, "Well, it was obvious you'd abandoned the place. And my son Tyler needed somewhere to stay. This room was just begging for a refresh." Tyler, her 26-year-old man-child who still lives in her basement and once tried to get a job as a professional sleep influencer. The last time I saw him, he was attempting to vape through a snorkel. "I was gone for 5 days, Lydia," I said, walking in, trying to stay calm. "And you broke in. How did you even get in?" She actually had the nerve to say, "Billy gave me the key. That nice roofer guy you hired. He said you trusted me." I was stunned. I had hired a crew 3 weeks back to fix a small leak on the roof. Young guy named Billy must have handed her a spare key, thinking she was my sister or something. Now here's where it turns. I told Lydia to get out, to call her son and remove every can of paint, every piece of that garbage furniture she dragged in. And she, Lord help Mesh, pulls out her phone and calls 911. "Yes, I'm being threatened," she sobbed into the phone. "There's a strange man in my home." I stood there, staring at this woman who had trespassed, vandalized, and now had the audacity to call me the criminal. I waited at the front door, heart thudding, watching the peach-colored crime scene dry around me. The police arrived, a seasoned female sergeant named Daniels and a younger male officer named Royce. They walked in, saw the chaos, saw Lydia standing there like she was queen of the HOA paint committee, and gave me that look. "What, in God's name, is going on?" I stayed calm, introduced myself, gave them my ID, showed them the mail in my hand, explained the entire situation. Lydia, of course, doubled down, claimed Tyler had tenant rights, that the house was deteriorating, and that she and her son had a verbal understanding with me. That's when I brought out the big guns. My phone. Security footage. Crystal clear. Lydia entering my house with a key, Tyler behind her with a sledgehammer, knocking a hole in the drywall. Her directing him like she's shooting a home improvement show from hell. It gets better. TikTok clip Tyler posted titled, New Crib. Who dis? Where he shows off his new man cave, peach walls and all. Sergeant Daniels watched it in silence, arms crossed. Then she turned to Lydia and said, Ma'am, you're under arrest for unlawful entry, vandalism, and filing a false police report. Lydia's face collapsed like a flan in a hot car. She muttered something about beautifying the community as they walked her out in cuffs. Meanwhile, Tyler had already bolted barefoot out the back door when he saw the squad cars. I wish I could say that was the end of it. But you know how these things go. The story hit the HOA, then the neighborhood, then the local paper. The headline was glorious. Local woman arrested in bizarre home redecoration takeover. And the fallout? Let's just say Lydia Bancroft is no longer on the HOA board. She was voted out in an emergency meeting faster than you can say code violation. Turns out I wasn't the only neighbor she'd bullied. She once filed a complaint because someone's windshield was too musical. The HOA even adopted a new set of bylaws, the Glavel Guidelines. They jokingly called them meant to prevent exactly this kind of boundary-crossing nightmare. I declined to join the board, but I helped draft the proposals. That felt right. As for Tyler, he eventually turned himself in. Got probation, community service, and a fine. Rumor has it he's working at a local smoothie bar. The man cave dream? Reduced to an evidence bag containing a wolf poster, 3 cheese puff wrappers, and a notebook filled with rules like no girls unless they bring pizza. And Lydia? Well, she had to sell her house. Moved to another part of the county. I heard she's keeping a low profile. Therapy's court-ordered, and the restraining order keeps her 100 feet from me and my property. The best part? I rebuilt the room. New sage green walls, bamboo floors, a larger window on Grace, and I always dreamed of. It's brighter now. Warmer. Like something good came from something insane. People ask me if I feel like I got revenge. I don't. Not really. What I got was closure. I didn't have to scream or stoop to her level. I just had to stay calm, collect my evidence, and trust that the truth eventually will do what it needed to do. Because that's the thing about people like Lydia. They never think the rules apply to them. Until the day the rules knock on their door with a badge, a warrant, and a copy of the deed to your house. So, if you've ever had a neighbor like that, one who thinks your home is their playground, I'd love to hear about it. Drop a comment down below. What would you have done? What's the wildest neighbor story you've got? Let's swap tales, because if this saga taught me anything, it's that every quiet street has its secrets. And every Karen eventually paints herself into a corner. And me? I'm gonna go sip tea in my bright, peach-free living room. Oliver's already curled up on the new couch. And for the first time in a long time, I feel complete, finally home.